Hello and welcome to this presentation provided to you, the church family, by the Children's and Family Ministries of the Florida Conference. This presentation talks about families, relationships, and marriage. And the title of the presentation is Building Homes of Hope and Wholeness. Before starting this presentation, I would like to start by reading a Bible verse found in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 2 and 3. And it says, "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace." This, as you know, this presentation talks about families, relationships, young people, children. But in this um, seminary, I would like to talk about some ways that the society today pressures people to get married. Not only the society, but also church, family, and friends too. Sometimes we pressure our young children from our churches to get married, like questions like, when are you going to get married? When are you finding a girlfriend? Or where are you finding a boyfriend? Like that, we are putting some pressure on our kids, on our children, on our young people to commit a very, very huge decision in their life for which they may or may not be prepared. There is a group activity that I would like to be starting by, that I would like to you, the ones that are watching this seminary, to make a list wherever you are of ways that as a church family we also put some pressures on single adults. Some of this pressure is by the social media, by messaging posts, any social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and we put, everybody knows by this time that those social media messages has a very huge impact on the way people behave today, especially young people who get really pressure, who get a lot of information and get a lot of influence by that. Dating websites, a lot of people that they don't have the time to have that social interaction with people, they go through these dating websites. And even there are websites that are called like Christian Mingle, something like that, that are for Christian people, for Seventh-day Adventists, for people who, they even tell you which kind of personality fits into you, and they go through the algorithm, and they find the right person for you. They give you some pictures, things like that. Movies, music, entertainment, that's another way people get influenced by committing huge decisions in their lives, such as getting married or start dating someone. As a church family, we put some pressure on our kids, on our young men, to put that pressure into getting married, into start dating someone by, for example, there is this thing in churches nowadays, that events for young people, events for single people, and event and conventions, camp meetings for family events, and we exclude single people and family people like this is something really different. And single people, single young men, they are part of the family. There are people who live alone. There are people who doesn't have been committed to get married, and they are their own family. And we sometimes exclude them from family events, because family events are supposed to be for people that are married and have children. Constantly asking them, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna find someone? This is a kind of pressure that we sometimes put on them, making them feel alone if single, by not sitting with them on Sabbath, by not inviting them over to potlucks, Sabbath meals, activities. Let me tell you something so you know. Being single It's not being sick. It's not a disease being single. There is a lot of examples in the Bible where being single was pretty normal, and people had patience, and wait, on God, so they could find the right person for them. And one of the things we can do in order to have that patience, in order to commit, to find the right person, is by praying. Why praying? I would like to read this Bible verse to you. Luke chapter 21, verses 36. And it says, "Watch therefore and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man." Before starting a relationship with another human being, another person, we need to establish a relationship with God. By loving God, loving ourselves, respecting ourselves, having a spiritual connection with God, that's going to be the first step into finding someone for our lives. If we don't love God and if we don't love each other, there's a little opportunity that we can actually start loving someone else. Trusting in the Lord. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Lean not on your own understanding. We right now have a big message in the media, in the movies, and we hear phrases like this: follow your heart, follow your soul. And without understanding that this is not the one, this is not the one we need to follow. It's God the one who need to follow, because the heart, ourselves, is like I said sometimes, the heart is a very liar organ of the body. This right here lies constantly. The God of our Creator, Jesus Christ, is the one who need to trust in order to find the right person for our lives. Wait on the Lord. Isaac from the Bible, he married at 40 years old. A lot of people marry even later. They wait for the Lord to find the right person for them. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and He shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. On the Lord. One of the things that we find interesting at the time of start dating or even before is premarital counseling. And as you can see, there is this website that is called Prepare and Reach Training. They have a very nice training for people who want to get some expertise on facilitating premarital counseling. This is for church leaders who want to get more expertise on that, who have young children, young kids young people who want to establish a relationship, and they may talk to one of the church leaders, pastors, elders, and this is something that you can actually get some expertise and get training into it, so you actually can help those people. You don't have to be a professional to get this training. As you know, premarital counseling is for people before getting married, premarital counseling. But you don't have to start dating in order to get premarital counseling. You can get premarital counseling as a single person, just to get prepared for that. Research says that couples who succeed doing the premarital counseling, they gain the necessary knowledge they need before they settle into destructive patterns that often lead to divorce. 31% are less likely to get a divorce if they get somehow the premarital training before they get married. This guy David Olson reports that 80% of the couples that did premarital training stay together, and this is a research. This is not something published in any magazine. This is something that was actually researched. James, now let's talk about communication. One of the most important things in a relationship is how to communicate. Communication and how to communicate. James chapter 1 verses 19 says, my dear friend, you should be quick to listen and slow to speak or to get angry. There are a lot of types of communication, and I would like to mention verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written communication, and visual communication. Let's start by the verbal communication. The verbal communication is saying out loud, expressing your feelings and emotions verbally, out loud, by speaking, by talking. This is what people do every day. Sometimes the thing with this is that sometimes people speak and have verbal communication before thinking. You will need to think twice in order to express your own feelings. The non-verbal communication, written communication and visual. Written communication, writing letters, sending messages. It's a lot of written communication nowadays because of the text messages on the phones. Most of the communication is actually by written. The visual communication is by showing figures. This is very, very nice when you're doing working with children. They express by drawing and visualizing. They can find a message to it. And the reason I led the nonverbal communication is because the nonverbal communication is probably one of the most important here. 90% of the communication nowadays goes through the nonverbal. Everything you didn't say with words, you may say it with your body, with your gestures. Some people got caught in the middle of a lie just because of the nonverbal communication. Some people are saying yes, they're very happy, while when in the they're trying to imply, but through their body, that they are actually not. This is the nonverbal is very, very important in order to get information about abuse, domestic violence, and it's really important for you as a church leaders and church member to learn how to recognize the nonverbal skills in order to learn how to communicate better with people. Being assertive, assertiveness. What does that mean in the communication process? Being assertiveness is saying what you gotta say truthfully, honestly, and to the point. It's not, navigating around in messages that you don't try to say, or you didn't say, or you just don't say completely. Be assertive, be honest, be to the point. Say what you gotta say with love. Active listening. Part of the communication is by listening what the other person needs to say, what the other person is trying to tell you. Sometimes we are very focusing ourselves, very focused on what we need to say, and very focused on putting our own reasons to that we forget to listen what the other person is saying to us. We are too focused on being right, being the one with the actual truth, absolute truth, that we forget to listen what the other people need to say to us. I would like to show you this activity that you can try in your houses, at church. This is to be completed in teams of 2 people, especially couples. Imagine yourself shipwrecked with your partners on a tropical desert island. The 2 of you are the only survivors. You have no idea where you are, and a storm appears to be on the way. You decide that you need to prepare to survive on this island for some time, and to find some way to ensure that you can be spotted by a rescue party. There are a lot of items from the ship on the beach that could actually help you, but you can carry only 4 items. Each of you write down in a separate piece of paper what you consider to be the 4 most important items to keep from the list. Do this individually and do not discuss your items at this point. Here is one of the ship's inventory. You can change clothing, radio, gallons of water, pots and pans, matches, shovel, backpack, toilet paper, tents, sleeping bags, knife, a small life raft with sail, sunblock lotion, a cook stove, lantern, long rope, walkie-talkie, dry food, clothing, compass, oxygen, first aid kit with penicillin, a gun with 6 bullets on it. So those are some of the things that the ship has. So you just find 4 of them that are the most important. Share your list with your partner and discuss each of your choices and together come up with the 4 lists of items, a consensus list of items. This means that talking it over and working as a team to come to an agreement. Both of you need to be influential in discussing your viewpoint, explaining why you selected the items you did, and in making the final decisions. That's going to take a lot of argument because some of you are going to write something differently, and you need to explain to why it is important for you to carry that to the other person. But at the end of the day, you need to choose 4, and you will have to get a resolution into that. Once you get a consensus, it's time to evaluate how the activity went. Think about how effective you were at influencing your partner and how effective you were at influencing you. They were at influencing you. Did either of you try to dominate? Were you competitive? Ask yourself if you have fun. Did you work well as a team and feel included, or do you feel like you gave in? Okay, now let's talk about conflict management. Decide on a place and time. Whenever you have a conflict with the other person, you know that arguing and discussing that conflict is not appropriate to do it at the certain places, certain moments. So you need to find the right place, especially if there are children in the house. Just wait so that they don't see you arguing, and then find the right time to do it. This is one of the things that creates issues with families today. They're arguing all over the place at any moment, at any time, and in front of everyone, and even in public places. Define the issue. Like I said, this is about active listening. If you start talking and you don't listen to the other person, you're never gonna know why you arguing about it. Just define the issue, what you're talking about. Remember that the other person is not only the problem, you are also part of the problem. It only requires 2 people in a relationship to have issues and problems. That you may be blaming the other person, it's your fault, it's always because of you, you make me feel angry, mad, but in reality, both people are part of the problem and the situation. Historical analysis, brainstorm new solutions and possibility. This is about researching what causes the problem and go back to the problem and then go to the solution. By being constantly back in the problem, you never get it in a solution, but it's necessary to get back sometimes to the problem to actually know what is the root of the issue. Evaluate solutions, possibilities. What's this? Finding what is right. Go to a consensus, like the activity on the island. Just find what works best for everyone. Agree on an attempt. You both also are part of the solution. If you were part of the problem, you also are going to be part of the solution. And check up and reward each other and go dating. One of the cool things that couples can reward each other is to get some time for themselves, go out, spending positive, nice time together. One of the 5 qualities that Paul reads in Ephesians 4:2-3, and it says, which one do you need to develop most in your life right now? What does it mean in Ephesians 4:15 to speak the truth in love? Can you speak the truth without love, or love without speaking the truth? It's very interesting. Oh, you need to go back to Jesus, and Jesus always speaks the truth with love, and he tells us to do the same. Sometimes we try to be honest, and by being honest we may hurt another person, but it's right to be honest. But also when you find love to do it, it's going to be the right honesty and the right truth. Relationship and marriage, and let's go now to the next presentation. For now, this presentation is over. I hope you have learned something about couples and families, and how to be more proactive as a church in order to help people commit the right decisions in their life and help them as soon as they're married find solutions for issues that will come out as a family. Thank you very much.